Hello and welcome back, everybody.
What's up, everyone?
Yeah, my name's Jeremy,
I'm Jeff.
and together we are What More Could You Want?
Love this shit.
It's the best thing ever, man. It's
We had a week off, though, so it's like, man, it's so weird.
Yeah, we did have a week off, and we're still a little disjointed from the timeline. We're trying to get down and recording our episodes and getting them out as soon as possible. We're a few behind, trying to fix that, but we did take a week off, and I think it did us both probably some good. As much as we both wanted to be here, there's times where you just need to step away, and I did. And it wasn't my call. I had to step away for a week. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And it proved to be really, really good for me because I haven't been able to wait to get on here today.
Oh, dude, I've been excited, too.
Have you?
Yeah.
Well, that's what's up, man. That's what we need.
I feel like, it's kind of like what we, as we always do, and I always say, like, before we get on here and hit record, it's like, you're kind of talking about, like, the new shift and how you're feeling, and that's kind of how I felt lately, too, is like, man, it's kind of like, the new chapter in life. I think we both just unfolded into a new, better chapter.
I don't. Okay, so is it not crazy that we talk about these things and we think we're in a good place?
Yeah.
And then something happens and you get catapulted to an even better place.
Yes.
And then you look back and you go, I wasn't even close. I wasn't close.
No, like over the past like couple months, I've been in like a really good place. I can say like better than before, and like it's gotten better, but like it just kind of has all really kind of just fallen into place over the past like couple weeks, and everything. It feels good, and I might not look the same here on camera. I swear it's me.
It's the same dude. I
You
swear.
can see the ink. There's my proof.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of like you're exactly right. You feel like, man, life is good, and it's like, whoa, dude, life is really good.
Yeah. So much of the same, which we haven't even gotten into why you're weak and how you're weak, but we will. I'll go ahead and throw something in there too. I decided almost exactly 2 weeks ago to start living my life and trying to lead with love.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what, somebody cuts you off on the highway. Well, I hope you get to where you're going, man. I hope that you stay safe doing that.
Yeah.
Honey, the wife comes home and she's just growling. She's not in a great mood, and you can tell, but she ain't wanting to talk about it. Hey, let's go outside and sit in the yard under the moon together, and let's get recentered together, because it ain't just about me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's about me trying to provide some good energy to those around me, and just whatever happens, happens. Not, I'm going to give you some direction or coaching, and then if you don't do it, I'll get angry. That's bullshit. You can't lead with love and then do that to somebody. You can't lead with love and expect anything. You just lead with love, as in, I hope you get to wherever it is that you need to be right now in your path.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how this week has been for me. So
Good.
I think much like you, I sort of tripped and fell into a pile of nice, pretty cotton and said, wow, I like it. I like it here a lot better than how I was feeling before.
Yeah.
And I've already proven to myself time and time again that I go to bed a happier person. I wake up a happier person if I just make my decisions based on love.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like, oh, I'm not going to pay my bills because I love this other shit.
No.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're going off of the basis of heart, not reaction.
Whew.
Like
Boom.
that's the thing. Like you just going back, like on my way here, like I'm not hitting a lot of traffic because it's a little earlier in the afternoon than rush hour, but a few people, and I was on the phone with my wife, and I was like, oh, and she goes, what? And I go, almost just got in an accident. It's like someone trying to like get over when you're in the turn lane, and that's not, it's
yeah.
like, and then it's green, and then they, oh no,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, and then you see the people in the back of you. It's like, but it's those things like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of that principle of not just like snapping and going.
Yeah.
And it's a hard thing, man, that, all props to you to be able to say like you're thinking and reacting with love versus the emotional. It's still an emotion, but it's a much better one.
It's not an emotional reaction.
I'd say, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Not the reaction.
Yeah, you nailed it, dude. It's more of a pre-planned at the beginning of my day. This is how I'm going to live today. And I fuck up. I mess up ungodly many times a day. But more times than not, I mess up. It's just in my head.
Yeah.
It's just a thought. Nobody was hurt. Nobody even knew. But when you start introspectively critiquing yourself in a positive way,
Yeah.
and you tell yourself, and I did this today, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. Please just forgive me, please. Whatever, Mother Earth, the universe, please forgive me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I overreacted, but man, I'm glad to be back now.
Yeah.
And that's a 1 minute happening.
Oh, it's
1 minute, maybe.
It's literally, dude, snap,
Yes.
blink of an eye, like,
Yeah.
holy cow. And that's the hard part of, I think, life in general is more people live by the immediate reaction versus sitting there and internalizing, going,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
Because it's so easy just to go off the hip. And
Well, when that
snapping.
person, okay, so going off the hip,
yeah.
when that individual pulled out in front of you, and we talk about traffic a lot, but I think it's a good metaphor for life.
Oh, I completely agree.
Right? Okay. So you're driving, you expect to get to that light, you're going to make a left turn. Somebody gets in front of you. The immediate reaction is based on one that is conditioning.
I was like, dude, fight or flight of adrenaline. I was like, oh,
Yes.
shit. I told my wife, well, I'm not so tired anymore.
Right. It woke you up, right?
Totally. I got that adrenaline surge, but I was just, because it's like, you know, I was like, oh, we're going. Oh, shit. No, we're not.
But the bottom line is, you know that if you get here 1 minute late or 2 minutes
But that
later,
was it.
it doesn't matter.
But the nice thing is, because like leaving from where I was at, I was like, I don't know how long. And I'm like, I could not find like I know where to go. I don't know. You're just dressed by like my head. I'm like,
Sure.
I'll just go this way. And it was just like, I'm going to cruise.
Yeah.
Take my time.
Yes.
And I think that's another point of life is you can't rush life. There's nothing you can do. Like, obviously, you want to get to your destination faster. You're like, oh, I'm excited. But there are consequences with going a little faster.
Mm-hmm.
Whether the law, injury, you know, there's so many things. But
Yeah.
literally the entire time, you know, I was listening to a little bit of a podcast, and I talked to my wife before she was getting our daughter from practice. And it was just like, oh, okay, cool. And I'm like, oh, all of a sudden, damn, I'm already in Troy. Holy shit.
Well, all right. Well, let's do this. Let's look at this another way, too, because I want people out there to understand this. You're a dad or your mother, okay? You're off work a little late. You're a little stressed out, a little anxiety about it. It's your child's birthday. You got to get to your child's birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, your husband or your other spouse is off early. They're taking care of the preparations, but you got to get there. So what do? You drive faster.
Oh, yeah.
You jump around somebody and try to squeeze back in, and you honk the horn. You get all angry. Do you think for 1 minute that you getting to that party on time, pissed off and full of anxiety and vinegar and all those other nasty things, is going to be beneficial for your child, your husband or spouse or whoever, your wife, partner, friend, whatever? Or is it even going to be beneficial to you? It's not. None of it is.
No.
If you just take your time and say to yourself, please help me make it here on time and without pain or suffering. And it's a lot of work, and a lot of people are going to think that I'm crazy by saying this, but you're setting yourself up for a different kind of conditioning.
Well, yeah, but in a good way to look at it, too, is in that way of being the mad driver, all those people you affected and maybe pissed off. Now, we'll just simple. 5 people you pissed off. Now, 5 of those people go home. So let's say their families.
Yep.
There's the potential that you just pissed off 20-plus people.
Unless you do the opposite, and then you maybe helped 20-plus people.
And even if you're a little late getting to your kid's birthday or whatever, whomever you're getting to is probably still just as happy that you just arrived.
Hey, you arrived 5 minutes late. Woo, traffic was crazy. I got out of work. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, yeah.
You let somebody in, put your hand out the window, wave to them.
Yeah.
Come on in, man. That person.
That's what I was doing on the way here. I was just like, go out.
And what happens when somebody comes and does it to them? They're more likely now to go, hey, you go ahead, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I was like, even on the way into work and stuff like that, it's the same thing. It's just like, yeah, come on. Like, I'm in no rush. If I get there at this time or if I'm still getting there.
But if you were in a rush, whose fault is that? That's yours
It's
because you
mine.
didn't leave earlier.
Yeah.
And,
This morning I thought I was going to be late, and I was like, oh, well, I'll be a couple minutes later than, when I'm supposed to, but it doesn't matter.
No, not at all. Not at all. It doesn't matter one bit. And if it matters at all to anybody, it's to you.
Yeah.
So can you guys see what we're talking about here is like you become that self-licking ice cream cone where you're like, I got to get there. Why? For you.
Yeah.
Nobody else, just for you.
Personal pride.
It is.
I get some jobs and some things, yes, you're supposed to be at a certain time if you actually got to, punch in or something.
Yeah.
I get those, but I don't.
Yeah, but we're talking about when you're done punching in and you're going home. Let's leave that punching in mentality at home.
I had that mentality a while back that, man, when I got out, like, I wanted to be NASCAR driver, Formula One, get home because I just wanted to be in the place that brings me peace.
All right.
I get that, but
What happens if you get in an accident and you never go home?
yeah, and that's the thing is like it's not worth sitting there flying because on one day home coming from across the bridge over there, I watched some idiot flying, weaving through. Cops pulled him over, and as he merged over to get over, caused 2 people to swerve, caused another person to hit the guardrail.
Oh,
so
my.
I literally just watched almost like, 3 people's lives, and, one actually hit, and then, flipping cop literally gets him over, and like I'm slowing down, and I can see on my rear view, cop got out like you just cut off 3 people, and you just caused an accident with another one.
Yeah,
It's
well,
like,
that cop was obviously reacting to a situation. Now,
if this dude was being an idiot driving,
of
which
course, but
know.
if that cop flies up to that window now with that same kind of haste that he just witnessed, he is not fixing the situation. He is adding more fuel to the fire.
they got out quick though.
I know, and I don't blame them. I'm just saying, if you really want to get granular with this shit,
like you just like I was like, oh shit, but I was like,
yeah,
I just witnessed all this.
right.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
so did
dude.
the cop, so I didn't need to stop, but it's
Right.
like the cop watched it unfold. But yeah, it's those things, but it's those split second things of just pull it back a little.
Yeah.
'Cause you can wish for something like this week. It's a holiday weekend. We got Labor Day weekend. Man, I want to be here. You can wish all you want, and it will not fast forward you to the holiday. If you had plans or whatever,
Right.
It does not get you there any faster.
Totally, man. Totally.
Nothing.
Yeah. And you can apply this to anything across the board. You're at home and you're waiting for your kids to do their chores or get them done.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. If you approach them and bark, they're going to close up. If you approach them and say, hey, what can I do to help you get this done a little easier, a little faster?
Oh yeah,
That's a different conversation,
I agree.
And I'm not saying this, I'm not preaching because I'm learning every day, right? Jeff and I don't sit here to preach. We don't sit here to tell you how to do it. We tell you what's working for us. And if you don't like that, cool.
No, it's exactly like we've said before, guys. It's things that have helped us or way we see things that hopefully we can, like traffic. Almost everybody, if you don't do it with it daily because of the situation now, at some point in your life you've been in traffic.
Yeah.
Every driver has. It's things that we try to relate to you guys that hopefully maybe you turn it around to something that means more to you than us talking about traffic or whatever it may be.
Right.
That it connects, because that's the whole point, is finding these little things that work for you to help you be better in yourself. Then if you better yourself, everyone you're in contact with will typically will hopefully rise with how you're going. So
would you mind elaborating then on how that kind of mentality is associated with decisions like shaving your hair or cutting your beard? Because I know that they're related.
Yeah. So like over these past, how many months, you guys have heard us talk about like doing meditations more, and I do the Wim Hof breathing and read nonstop and do these things, and really trying to put myself in a better, more positive place and kind of see the world a lot differently. And some of you might think I'm nuts, but it's like, kind of what we talked about. You don't have to have all this materialistic stuff in life. I posted something today that, everyone's, I can't remember how it goes as usual, but like, the greatest gift you've already been given of life is your life.
Yeah. That is the journey.
Literally, that's the best gift you have. You have a life. You are alive. It is how you choose to live that life. And so, like, this past weekend, I shaved my head, trimmed my beard. I had not cut my hair, I believe it was 18 months.
Yeah.
Maybe more or less. It would have been 2 years, would have been coming up November.
Sure.
And then I decided to trim the beard, too. And part was one, I was like, I'm kind of getting sick of this hair. I'm kind of like, should I do it? Shouldn't I do it?
It's hot out.
Well, yeah, and it's getting cold, but it doesn't matter. My head's like numb anyway all the time. But
Right.
I was like, okay, so decided to do that. I was like, I'll trim my beard. My wife's just infatuated because, that's how she met me. I didn't have hair. I kind of had the, I had less facial hair than this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So
I
I didn't have any when I fought,
Right.
Nothing is for the glove to stick to your face.
Right. Yeah.
But, so I just kind of decided, is like, you know what, I'm going to do this. New chapter, new look, kind of get back to me. But a bigger thing is there's 2 parts kind of 3. One, I knew my wife would love it, but I was kind of sick of it. So that kind of goes hand in hand.
Totally.
Another thing is called tonsure, if I'm saying that right. It's what the Buddhist monk, Shaolin monks, Buddhism monks do. I didn't shave it completely to the scalp. That's just a pain.
Yeah.
But they shave their heads. They usually don't have beards. And a manner of that it gives them a simplistic life. Like that long hair, every so many days I gotta wash it, and you gotta either let it dry, you gotta put shit in it. It's one less thing of vanity, and that's what they do. Is they back in Buddhist time is they shaved their heads, then they stood out from society, and back then too, a shaved head, someone with no head who's bald was looked down on.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, you can't grow hair. Well, then they voluntarily did it, and I think it puts you in a light that one, it's easier for hygiene.
Yeah.
I can't style my hair. I literally can't. I can't do shit with what I look like now, which is fine.
Yeah.
But it put me in that simplistic of places as I've done more of this meditation, these readings and things that I'm finding that I don't all these things that society thinks you need to want.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need all that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. Like I've even going through more of my clothes. Dude, I'm down to like, maybe like 50 t-shirts. Some I can't part because they just got some good meaning and I can't fit in them. They're like, from back in the day. But it's realizing I have way more than most of the world. I'm very blessed and beyond. So that was kind of another part in that whole, Tan Shore thing. Look it up, like Buddhist monks. You guys don't got to go out and shave your heads in this, but the things that they do and how they learn and live their life, that's a completely different way than us and the,
yeah, totally.
last year. But
yeah.
a big part was the 1 year anniversary of my coach, Justin Thacker, passing on Sunday. He always had a shaved head. I've never seen a picture with him with hair. It was like maybe a buzz. But when I did have hair, he always be like, you got to go, you got to get rid of that shit. You're not going to be strong. Everyone knows you can shave your head, you PR. He'd always give me shit when I had my hair. Yep. When I had the long beard, he'd be like, oh, it's, Gandalf Paps here coming in. Because I had to always adjust my face when I would clean and jerk to not catch it.
I remember it. Yeah.
So
totally.
I just thought in my head, you know what? It's the weekend. It's going to take time. So I told my wife, I'm going to do it. So put it in a pony, got some scissors, and she took scissors as low as she could get to my scalp so I could use clippers because clippers would just get cut. And then I would be literally having to cut them out of my head.
Yeah.
So I was just like, you know what? I had 3 good reasons. Me and her. One, she was ecstatic. And, it's a simplistic thing. All I did was cut my hair.
But it's so different that it causes people to become uncomfortable.
Yeah, but it brings her back to the 10 years ago of when we met. It brings me back to that too. Because especially now, all these photos are coming up. Like this time of year is when I had a lot of my fights. I'd have them in like spring, then you'd take mostly summer off, and fall, winters when you'd hit them because how you'd space the camps out. So at this time, I don't know, whatever year it was, I had fights in August. Then this month, 10 years ago, I was in Vegas. Would have been in 2 weeks from now, I'd be in Vegas for the World Martial Arts Championships in 2010. And it brings back those two. But I said, like, the biggest thing was doing it was, her, the Tan Shore thing of, I found a way of life that I can be on this.
Yeah.
Of, I don't need all this fancy shit. I don't need to do this. I don't need all this name brand, whatever. I'm happy. And I think more people need to realize you need to find your own happiness with your life and looking outside for materialistic things or outside forces to do it.
Yeah.
And then I thought it was a good way in my spirit to honor my coach, because this weekend too, I'm doing an online qualifier since we can't go anywhere and do these meets like they were. I was supposed to be in Florida to do the Masters meet. Well, before he passed, that was one of the goals. He goes, you're going to be 35 soon. You're going to hit the Masters circuit. And I go, oh yeah. And then told him some of my goals. And I told him that, and I feel one, to myself, but two, I told him I'm going to do this. And so I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So, but I feel, this is as crazy as it sounds, is a rebirth, a new person by, shaving my head and everything. It's
right.
It's nice.
Yeah. I've done it plenty of times.
Oh, yeah.
I know back at the gym, I used to show up and I just have no hair one day, just like you. And a lot of people don't understand that. They think, oh my God, what'd you do that for? You took so long to do this or the other. But what people don't realize is sometimes when your hair is long or your beard is long, it's because you just didn't want to mess with it.
Yeah.
That's the opposite, right? Like, shave your head because you don't want anything to mess with. Or you just let it go because you don't want to mess with it. It's sort of the same principle. It's obviously a different appearance and different outcome. But like for me, my place, I think, is I think I'm starting to feel more like a certain Jewish carpenter. and just let it go, man. Just let it go and have fun with it. I've never had long hair before. And I know none of this matters. This sounds like a couple schoolgirls sitting around talking about their appearance, which is basically what we are inside. It's all good. But I think that for once, I just wanted to not be in control of it and just let it do whatever the hell it wants to do, and let me see what happens.
That's kind of how I was over the past 18 months. Is when I stopped cutting it. I was recently at my previous job, and I was like, I'm just not going to cut it for a while. I just don't care.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people like, I can go out looking like a hot mess and it doesn't bother me.
Right.
It might bother my wife being standing next to me if I'm with her. But that was a big thing and all these things I'm reading. Like I encourage you guys to just look up, like, what Shaolin monks or Buddhist monks, just read about what they do. It's very interesting. But tonsure is the act of shaving your head, but all that goes with what they do of removing that. So you're no longer an individual, you're group. That all these men, we're all look alike.
Yeah, dude.
It takes a little bit away from you that you're not trying to be like, oh, I'm better than you. Look at me.
Right.
It simplifies you down. But
yeah, I get it.
The biggest thing is like, it's like I've kind of come to that point. I've more humble and realizing like, cool, I could be the richest man in the world.
Yeah.
If I was Bezos, great. I realized I wouldn't need all the things that I could do with my money. I would take it and put it elsewhere.
Well, I'll tell you right now that you and I may not be the most financially wealthy people, but you and I and other people that are trying to get through this crap the way we are, we are more wealthy than we know.
Yes.
Right. And I'm not saying you don't know that.
Yes.
Saying that to the public, to the people, our people out there. Jeff and I have started to really turn things around in our lives, in our minds. And it's no coincidence. It's no coincidence that we're both achieving things and feeling some of these things at the same time, because we're both here trying to put out this same positive energy, right? And it reflects in what happens back at home.
Yeah.
It reflects in your conversations with your wife or your kid. You can't sit here and say something and it doesn't affect you and you don't think about it when you leave this room.
Yeah.
Right? But you have to be intentional.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have that intent of like, I want to lead with love. I want to lead with my heart. I'm going to try to rewire my brain to where I don't start speaking a thought on top of someone else's thought, because that's not love. That's disrespectful and uncaring. You're essentially telling the person that what they have to say isn't quite as important as what you have to say.
Yeah.
But we all do it.
And I think that's a big thing with that, and going back to the wealth thing is, your intent, I think, has got to be in the right place.
Of course. Hey, you ain't fooling nobody.
Yeah, like,
right?
I think by people reading the thing I posted on my Instagram, why I did it, and I didn't put the reasons for Justin in there because that was mine. I'm fine with sharing that. If somebody would really want to dive in, I would have said. But part of that, and how I'm moving forward in my life, but to honor Justin too. But like we talk about the wealth, I think that's a big thing. A lot of you guys who are listening is, you can have the materialistic things. I love it, but the wealth of what we're getting to in our life, to where we're at like this phenomenal place of just overall kind of being centered, happy, finding the balance of where we're like, we feel our best. I think that's wealth beyond what, you could have in your bank account, because you could still be the richest person in the world and just be miserable with all this stuff. Like, you really got to find the wealth of life of how are you living yours? What are you doing to better yours? Is it bettering other people? Are you doing what you love? All these little questions that you can ask yourself. And, it's taken Jeremy and I each our years of existence to get to those points.
Yeah. And every day, like I said, we screw the pooch.
Oh,
we shit the bed. I mean, it happens. And I can sit here and I can tell you one thing and go back into my home and instinctively react in an opposite manner.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is, thanks to meditating, thanks to having some realizations along the way and having friends like you, it's easier to snap back to where you want to be, right? It's easier to get back into the lane that you're supposed to be in. We're not all supposed to be doing 95 in the left lane.
Oh, yeah.
Some of us, myself included, get wrapped up in that. And, I find myself, even this week, I was coming back a couple nights ago from our band practice. And dude, there's nobody on the road. It's 10 o'clock at night, and they're sort of like smaller highways. And somebody was very impatient, and they put themselves and me in a very dangerous situation. And the first thing I reacted with was anger.
Yeah.
But I know better. I know better than to do it. But your brain is wired in a certain fashion, no different than your house. When you flip this switch, that light comes on.
Yes.
If you want to change it, you better go rewire that, or else you're going to keep going, why isn't this happening?
No, that's exactly it, man. And that's like that one book by Dr. Saeed Helmstetter, What Do You Say When You Talk to Yourself? He really talks the entire book about you need to rewire the things that you've been taught since you were a kid. That how many times have you think you've heard no in life? If you could, fathom it and even add it.
Hundreds of thousands.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how many times do you think you've been told yes?
Maybe thousands. Maybe tens of thousands.
Yeah, and that's what I
don't know.
He talks about in the book. He
Who knows?
just throws out numbers, but think about like you've been told no more in your life than yes. Mm-hmm. Not don't do this, don't do this. Oh yeah, like
right.
Out of good reason. Some things
course.
yes, but some things you got to learn to fall in life. But going back to your, talking about speeding, there's three things. One, you get there safe and sound. Two, you don't. Some other bigger issue happens. You crash, and that's life. You can only go so fast of life before you hit and burn, and then you're a shitstorm, and you've mentally, physically fucked yourself. Or you mentally and destroy other people, or you don't.
Well, how many times do you find yourself or someone else in a vehicle again? We'll just go back to the well here, and they've just come flying past you, just 100 miles an hour in a 55, right? And the next exit, you find yourself sitting right next to them or right behind them.
I've had that before, yeah.
Listen, no matter our speed, folks, we're all still going to the same place.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all still going to get there.
Everyone is on their journey of life. We'll put it back to this traveling in the car. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Every moment, every minute, second, whatever, we're all on a path of life. We're all trying to go somewhere, whether physically or metaphorically.
Yep.
You can't rush it.
Yeah, and if you do, you're going to be met with some turmoil. Trust us. Like, if you try to force things, the universe will put you in your place.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to happen until it's supposed to happen, brother. I don't care what it is.
And it's a hard thing to, like, kind of what you're saying is that rewiring process to reshape these shooting from the hip moment versus, all right, I'm going to respond with love or care.
Yeah.
A little bit more compassion.
Right.
And the same thing, you pull off on that exit ramp. Do I give them the bird or just, I'm here, they're here. Cool. No big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot better if unless you really like that tight feeling in your chest from like the adrenaline rush or the anxiety that sometimes comes with adrenaline and vice versa. Unless you're really into that and just love that, I suggest you start embracing the ideas of rewiring your own brain.
Yeah.
Because listen, unless your parents or family members or siblings or good friends have talked about this kind of stuff, our country, our way of life is not surrounded by any of these things.
No.
It's not made up of any of these. As much as we'd love to believe that, we're Americans and we're great and this and that. Have you ever stopped to think why the rest of the world looks at us and just shakes their head?
Yeah.
There's a reason. We're young. We're children. We are just learning as a nation.
We're only a couple hundred years old. We are not thousands.
Right. There have been humans for thousands of years.
Yeah. And that's kind of like,
But
we got a history, but I wouldn't say it's a rich history quite yet. And that'll be way before, we'll be long gone. That'll be generations
and all of
down
this
line.
turmoil now will be talked about.
Yes.
Then as a pivotal part.
And every, country, part of the world has their problems, but going to the East, their way of thinking, their way of living is a lot different. And in other parts of Europe, everywhere. But there's a different way of going back tens of thousands of years to how these people lived.
Yes.
That still radiates with the current population versus...
Yeah.
We can't speak that because you're going to have to start tracing what country did your family come from.
We can't. And people have to understand, too, that...
we're trying to make up for mistakes that were 100 years ago.
Yes. So we could all dwell on the bad that was. We could all dwell on the bad that is. Or we could all take a step back from the good and the bad and just reset and view these things as instances, as memories, because that's most of these are just memories now. If you want to keep reliving the memories, well, that's on you.
Yeah.
But I don't know about you, Jeff, but a lot of the recent past, I don't really ever care about thinking about again.
No, it's
you know,
hopefully you take history and you learn from it, you know?
Yeah.
We're very young in this nature, but think of like Middle East and the religious battles, thousands plus of years.
Way more than a couple hundred years.
Because sides won a battle of whose is what.
Right. So just think, a new guy comes in.
That is, hey, son, we hate them. That they're not our religion. Oh, hey, Grandpa, why do we hate them? They're not our religion. Dad, it continues.
That's their conditioning. It's different than our conditioning, but it's still human conditioning. So how about this for a thought? What if we're all supposed to go through every one of these trials and tribulations? And what if every one of us is going to realize the suffrage and the pain that we've caused ourselves at a different moment in our life? That is what I would call an awakening.
I would say that, and it's like The Alchemist.
Absolutely. I don't know how many times I've heard that in the last week.
Yeah, if you guys never read The Alchemist, need to.
Yeah.
Phenomenal book. Easy read, but just the message. You'll read it over and over again in your lifetime. But it's exactly like The Alchemist of, I want this. I want these riches. I want these things. And then, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but you go through this, the character in the book, he goes through a lot of bad things, gets his ass kicked, gets beat a couple times, has good and bad. And you that's part of life. You will have the high moments, the low moments, and who's to say when you find your nirvana, your enlightenment, or your inner peace, or wherever you consider your wealth.
Right.
And we're not talking material wealth, your personal wealth of your overall being. You might find it at 18. Hell, good for you.
Right. Some have.
You found it before the rest. You might find it like me. I think I'm starting to find it here. End 36, verge of 37.
44.
Yeah. It's, and there's no rhyme or wrong reason. Certain people don't get their shit chained, their stuff until they're late in life.
Yeah, man. I really pray, and I'm hoping that we are a lot more like wine than beer, and that we just get better with time. I really do, because I don't want to be a beer at 50 years old. I really don't.
Unless you're one of those aged in a barrel, you ain't gonna taste good.
That's right, man. And I want as many people as possible to come along with me on that journey. But what I'm realizing is, and this has been said to me before I ever even thought about going down this path, you can't do it until you want to do it.
Yes.
There is no talking somebody into something. They're just saying, hey, here's a bucket of bolts.
Yeah.
Pick the one that fits for you. And if you like it, hey, cool. And come back to me if you need anything. I'm here.
Yeah.
I love you, and I'll be here to help you. But you can't be mad at somebody when you give them the bolt and they never fucking put it in the nut.
Yeah.
That's not on you.
Absolutely.
And then one day they're going to go through the drawer and they're going to be like, oh, shit. They do it. And they go, oh, it works.
And that's the funny thing of life. Everything you need is out in the world.
Oh, it's there. We have everything. Yeah.
You just have to figure out what is it you need to put the nut in the bolt or complete the puzzle piece, whatever we want to go with.
Yeah.
Everything you need is in the world. It's just going to take you to find, shit, I went down this path. Well, we're going to go through some brush for a while and, we're in a clearing. Found it. Like, whatever you want to look at your path, but that's everything you need in life to get you what you need is there.
So, okay. So you got folks like me out there that for years I talked about trauma and I talked about my past. And I connected a lot of my issues with my childhood. So we'll say I blamed my childhood for a lot of how I was. Well, I am right. And looking back as a father now, it breaks my heart to think about this, but I didn't have a father to really go to. So when you're in those moments and there's nobody there to tell you that the conditioning that you're doing to yourself or is being done to you is wrong, then you just keep living that way. And that's where I was for many, many years. I lived that way.
Yeah.
And then I fell down real hard mentally. And when I came back, I had the realization that I didn't want to live that way anymore.
Yeah.
I still didn't have all the tools I needed. I just woke up and realized I didn't hop on YouTube and go, hey, how do I go through an awakening? Or
you kind of finally realize that you don't want to let your past and actions that you had been a part of
Yeah.
dictate the future.
But that's a process. You have to process. You have to process the data. You have to say, okay, this is what happened. This is why it happened. This is how it happened. Where all those things. This is how it made me feel. Step back from it and go, that feeling is no more than this pen in my hand.
Yeah.
And if you treat it like that, you go, done. No more feeling.
Exactly.
And that is where the healing starts. But to get to that point and not talk yourself into thinking that this is all the hate and all the pain, that's the work.
Yeah.
That's the meditation. That's the breathing. That's the cold, the hot, the walks in the woods. That's the not talking out of turn. That's the listening. That's the leading with love.
Yeah.
And we all got to start now.
Yeah.
We do. I mean, we've got to start at least acknowledging that something else can be done.
Yeah. You know, and the things that you've seen or, you know, whomever out there have been a part of, I could sit here like, oh man, with what you experienced, you know, overseas, I really can. I can give insight of things I think could help. But again, like Jeremy said, it's you wanting to help yourself and do these things to do, you know, and
you can't be afraid to get outside of your own head.
No,
you can't.
Some of these crazy things that you just got to do.
You know, and I'm going to thank somebody right now. We had Joshua Chapman from CFT Performance Incorporated here locally on the show a couple episodes back, and I think it was episode 16.
Yep, 2 ago.
Yeah, and over the past couple of weeks, he has extended the offer to come to his shop and either wrench on my car, which I need to do, or help in the shop do other things. And those days, just doing something completely out of my norm, something that I did years ago and loved, working on vehicles and whatnot, it brought me back to center, man.
Yeah.
It brought me, so I got to say thank you to Joshua, man. I love you, and I love your company and the way you operate. I love the people in your shop, and I love the fact that this guy, another wounded veteran, another wounded human, knew that I needed that. And he provided it. And maybe he knew, maybe he didn't know exactly how that would work.
I don't know if he did, but I think he found that this helped him.
Yeah.
Hey, brother, why don't you come here?
Man.
And lo and behold, maybe it will do you like it did me.
It provided more than what I ever knew it would provide. It took me back to being youthful, and the energy and the love that people have when they're working together with that camaraderie on a single goal, right? And that's what they do there. It's no different than what we do at Barrel Brands. Mm-hmm. You have an idea, you have people that put it together, and then we give it to people.
Yeah,
what he does. But allowing me to come in and spend some time like that really helped get me back. So why I say that is, people, think of what you loved. Think of what you've done in the past that you absolutely cherished. Go get it. Go do it again. You're not going to be great at it. If you're an artist and you haven't drawn in 20 years, I beg you to pick up a pad of paper and draw. Go on your back porch. Go on the front steps. I don't care. Go to the library. Do whatever you have to do. Get back to who you are. Mm-hmm. And by who you are, I mean what you love.
Yeah.
What you care about. What makes you happy, so that when you are around your loved ones, you're happier.
Yeah, and it's finding those little things that won't consume you because you become so obsessed.
Yeah, you can't be obsessed, yeah.
Things, but that just click with you. It's like, man, you know, and it's like me doing the daily meditation stuff and, you know, or reading or whatever. That stuff just like, man, like yesterday I had the best session ever. Listen to one of Sam's on Harris's on materialism. Was it materialism or materialistic? I don't know.
It was materialism.
Like, yeah,
I saw that, yeah. Yep.
Man, it was a short one, and he's got ones that go on from it, but I was like, man, talking about kind of the same thing of, you know, your worry on this, your worry on that. And then I did Into the Whim, and it's just like completely euphoric out of it, like, whoa, kind of thing. But it's
right,
getting to those places or finding those things that can make you just a very calm, good person.
Yeah. And don't be afraid. If you decide that you want to do any of these things that we talk about, don't be afraid to grab your loved one.
Yeah.
And say, hey, I'm doing this. Do you want to do it with me?
Yeah.
Because you never know. You could be the catalyst for their change.
Yeah. My wife and daughter and I have all done meditations. Sam's got kids ones on there. But
I know.
We've done the calm one with kids. We've done that before.
Yeah.
We've done yoga together. Or if my daughter's got some homework from gymnastics, we'll do some of that. It's like things that one of us may need to do, but guess what? It benefits all of us. It's so, yes, it's a little selfish in the fact that for you, but it's doing something that betters the whole group.
Hey,
it's a win across the board.
That's the goal right there.
But that's also nice is you're including other people into something that potentially could help them if it's helping you.
So all of my family members can ride a skateboard.
Yeah.
I grew up riding a skateboard, rode for a team for a short while, had a lot of what I would call success. I was better than what I ever thought I could be.
Yeah.
Which to me is like, that's better than being pro. It's just like, I beat my expectations. And as a youthful young man, that is not an easy task to do because our expectations for ourselves can be so high.
Oh, so I think most people put them so high that you will inevitably fail.
Right. So how do you ever get happy if your expectations are so high that it's unattainable? You can't. You have to say, okay, well, I'm going to step on this ladder. I've never been on this ladder before. I'm going to put 1 foot on it and see how it feels.
Exactly.
And
it's a step by step.
How do you get to the top? And
I always tell people it's like, climbing a mountain or, if you want to use Everest or whatever, pick your mountain.
Right.
It's literally, I get to this next little plateau or little break in the mountain.
Yeah.
Cool. I accomplished it. Because for most people, you look at the tallest peak, we look at Everest, you're not just gonna start going up.
Yeah.
It's multiple type thing.
Yep. Up and down, up and down, up and down.
And that's how it's gonna take is cool. I reached this one, got to this one. Oh man, I'm back down to here.
Yeah.
And it's even ladder's perfect too. Got to this first rung, second rung. Oh, I slipped back down to first. Okay. Gotta get our balance, get our groove.
Right. But how much sense does it make, like, if you slip, that you don't go back to do it again?
Yeah, but because you've got the know-how and you've
Yeah.
rewired that aspect of your life that, okay,
I need better footing. Or
I'm on step 3, but I
Yeah.
fell to 1, but I know what I need to get to 3 because I've already been there. Exactly.
Exactly. But most people just stop and they
Well-
get discouraged and they walk away. And then what could have changed their life forever is now on hold. And the universe was trying to tell you, this is what you're supposed to do right now.
Absolutely.
And you told the universe, I can't do that. Sorry. And that's huge. That's huge, man, because you have to have a clear mind, which requires a lot of things. Eating well, right? Which I'm trying my best to do. I gotta get some weight off because every time I eat well, my energy is just so much better.
Oh,
it's so much better. It makes sense, right?
Get better fuel,
It makes sense.
You can put shit in the gas tank and guess what?
It's hard to overcome shitty fuel.
Yeah.
It's very hard to overcome shitty fuel. So trying to focus on getting the diet dialed in, right? Because to have a healthy mind, you got to have a healthy body, right? And vice versa. But once you start to get to those places and you have a little taste for how it feels to be better for yourself, to live a little nicer, to have a little more love and compassion for people, you become addicted to it.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you not? I mean, it's an addiction that can overcome, I think, other addictions. Like I gave up alcohol 99%. I'll have a little bit with my wife, maybe, if we want to sit down and enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I don't go grab a beer when I'm pissed off. I don't go grab a bottle of whiskey when it's been a long day.
No, see, I've never been that type of person. Through the quarantine, my wife and I might have drank more, but we did grab a beer and we sat on the front porch and our daughter would write and we just chilled.
Yes.
It wasn't like, oh, anger. And I've never been that way. Like for me, when I was angry, my turn to was always, I need to go get a good workout and I need to sweat.
For real.
And then it's funny, if you could film me during those times, I talk to myself. I literally would be like, so if I was mad at you, I would pretend I'm having the conversation with you. Obviously, there's no response. I would just spill my emotions of why I'm mad at you, things I'm thinking, the situation. And then for me, it's like I can remove. And that's how I dealt with it.
So that's how you process.
That's how a lot of shit I was dealing with prior and other shit was like, that's what I would do. And it's like, I remember, I think my wife was like, "What are you talking to?" Me just amping myself up. Sound like I'm crazy in the garage. But that's something that's helped me is like, if I'm in a pissed off mood and I'm working out, I will sit and talk to myself between sets of whatever's pissing me off. Like I'm saying what needs to be said to the person, which in some cases, you're going to have to eventually go say it, but I would say things that you probably shouldn't say.
Yeah.
But that gets all that out. And then you're also doing something physical. So you're releasing the negative energy. I'm burning that negative energy in the sense you're sweating the toxins out as you sweat. it's just a whole cleansing process. Like to me, like
is.
I love fitness, but it has double meaning to me that it whether I'm competing or doing it for my own health, but it does it for the purpose that I feel it cleanses me in that sense too.
I agree, man. I agree that it cleanses toxins from your body. Obviously, it gets rid of all of that crap via sweat. But the act of physically burning a piece of paper that you've written some things on,
That's another good one too.
it's another way to do it. But what I'm saying here is it's very, very similar to the working out. It's the same thing. You're getting rid of an energy.
Yeah.
You're removing this energy, or you're using the energy to move things. Right?
Yeah.
There's a
You're using,
difference.
Yeah, negative in a good way. For some people though, like I've had some bad days and it's like it just working out just doesn't go your way. But that's
Right.
That's normal too. But it comes with the whole thing of the physical, the sweat, toxins, but it's washing the mentality too.
Yeah.
I think through all that, the endorphins are pushing, get this negative shit out of here. It's flushing all that shit out. So then you go and do what you need to do. And it's like, okay.
Yeah. And I think that again, it's the intent.
Mm-hmm.
You go to the gym, you're like, oh yeah, look at me. That's not the same. That's a very vanity
It's an
and
ego
driven intent. And while it's no matter your reason, when you get into better shape, it's good. That's a good thing. But when it becomes obsessive and it's driven by your ego, and your ego does protect you, your ego serves a purpose.
But it's going back to the same thing of that ego is taking over to the vanity aspect that it will affect health eventually.
It will affect everything. Your mental health will suffer so greatly if all you do is focus on how you look so that other people will approve of that.
Oh, and like, I love my wife for the aspect of this, many reasons, but one that she can go out in public and won't have to put up her makeup. She'll throw her hair in like a ponytail or just go. And I love that because she has the confidence, like, why do I need to, like, that there are some men and women who can't walk out the door without looking like they're, going out some fancy date type thing. It's like,
I've been there.
Like,
I've been there.
For me, I'm like, it's like, I'm nicer than I normally am, but like, gym shorts and t-shirt, that's majority what I own.
Right, man. And nothing wrong with that.
No.
Nothing at all. It's no different than wearing a robe and living your life for that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you just want it to be more simple. And okay, and we're going to go back to something that I used to tell my kids when I coached them in football, or whenever I used to race cars and my driving teachers or whoever would tell me things. Slow is smooth, smooth is steady, and steady is fast.
Yeah.
So most of us are going real fast. How do you learn when you're on the move so fast? You don't. You can't learn anything when you're moving 100 miles an hour.
No.
You better not. You better be focused on what you're doing. So when do you slow down? Is it when you get home? No, it's not. Is it when you go to sleep? No, it's not. Is it when you wake up? No. You don't slow down until you put your ass in your own place and say, hey, listen, this is not healthy. I got to stop being in a rush everywhere I go. I got to start planning things better. I got to start with intent telling myself that today is going to be a slower day, but I'm going to get more done.
Yeah.
Right? And that's possible. It's very possible. I think that when you learn to slow things down and pull things back a little bit, it allows you to see what's important and how to place it at number one.
Yeah.
And how to take care of it. It's not to move faster. It's to move with better intent and more purpose.
To get it where it should be the right way.
Ask any special operator.
Oh, sure.
Right? It's not, we're not going to go running in daylight. And that's how most of us live.
Be bodies everywhere.
Right. You got to slow down.
Yeah. Similar thing in martial arts. If you can do it fast, you can do it slow. And as always, what we tell the kids and, the white belts or the lower ranking belts is like, if you can do it fast, you can do it slow. Do it slow, then you'll be able to do it fast. That's the thing is everyone's like, oh, I'm doing this. And it's like, even me, when I do like my heavy bag drills is I do it slow, methodical. Then as I get a little more warm, I'm like, okay, let's do this. And it's, I got the years of experience, but always learning.
Dude,
but it's that same thing. Like, do it slow, make it fluid, make it so then when you do it, it is perfect.
Every
if
time.
Not, like
like mechanical almost.
Like Bruce Lee said, I fear not the man who's thrown 10,000 kicks. I fear the man who's thrown the same kick 10,000 times. Yeah, That dude's
Yeah.
master, 10,000 hours and 10,000
Absolutely.
kicks, whatever. But same concept is that you've perfected it so that when you throw it, it's just oh, wow, or like
Just happens.
That driver, like damn,
Mm-hmm.
like yeah, you're cruising like you said, 100 plus miles.
Yep.
Dude, I'd have been gone. Like,
Right. Yeah.
but it's those things that you have to be able to do at a slower speed, and that's life. You can't live at that, that go.
Okay, so like if you take two fighters and they're in their camps and they're going to be opposing each other in the ring, right? The fighter that trains fast and with more like maybe more vigor and more tenacity, but never slows down to perfect the movements. And let's say he's going against a judo or jiu-jitsu master, right?
Yeah.
They are some of the slowest people in their movements,
They move to let you move so that they get you to slip, and then they take
Yes.
advantage of it.
but they can't do that quickly. It has to be a fluid process. And when you watch the Gracies, you can see it. It's,
They're playing chess, which is
They
what
are.
I've always learned
They
in
are.
fighting is, you think of fighting as an asterisk. You want to move in all these planes, but you're right-handed. Cool. I'm gonna go right. I'm gonna get away from your damn power hand. Oh,
That's
you're
right.
lefty.
Yep.
I'm going left.
Yeah.
But then I'm gonna set up moves to get away from your knockout power. If you have, if you're one of
Right.
those people, or going back, your jiu-jitsu judo. Okay, I'm going to stay at bay so you don't grab me or we don't go to your territory.
Right.
And it is that, and in fightings, there's always that puncher's chance. But still,
Of course. Yeah.
it's the thing is you have to. It's a flow.
Yeah.
Like in Kung Fu and Wing Chun, it's all flowing. It's taking the movements as someone throws punches, or like Hapkido, Aikido.
Yeah.
It's taking these movements and using your strike, what you're doing against you, using the body. It's like doing wrist locks. It's like literally takes no force. You can take a kid and they can make an adult go, oh my God, let me go.
Right.
Because you're using the body in a way that's like, okay, like, oh my God, you're doing something that's so simple, but
Yeah.
you're using the strength of what the body can provide to make it more painful to the other person.
Yeah.
It's the same thing in life. You can't force these things. You have to flow with it. You know, and
That's the word right
I
there.
read something the other day
Flow.
too about that, man. Like all talking about like flow, and Alan Watts has a bunch of stuff about that. But I read today, I think it was talking about nature and environment, or was it biology? I think biology and environment. Biology is not the environment, and environment is not the biology.
Yeah.
It's like someone put it because it's kind
I
of
know.
going with the unrest of times, and they had a leaf which showed all the veins, and they show a lot of that stuff with this stuff to talk about. If you ever do, like, look up, placenta and rivers and
Dude, I've already
leaves
got
and
it.
veins.
I've got
Yeah,
the,
show-
I've got I've got it, and it's amazing to
to
see.
see how roots look like human veins, leaves look like veins, rivers. How much
the
it's
placenta looks like the vein structure on a leaf.
Yeah.
Or I think that's what it was.
well, they say tree of life.
Tree of
if you-
that
but
was it.
either
The
way,
rings
but-
of the tree, all that
all that.
stuff. Yeah.
But those same things is that, like, you have to flow. You can't force, and I think he has the one. Is it him or is it Lao Tzu? Can't bite your own teeth.
Right.
Can't.
Right.
Then Alan's got one. I believe it's Alan. When you swim, you don't fight the water. You fucking drown.
Right. Yeah. Immediately.
Watch a swimmer. They're so graceful.
Cut
Like
through it.
Phelps is like, damn, dude, like your fish.
Yeah.
You're
The water barely
You're
moves.
flowing with the water.
Yeah.
One of the it's just random. One of the Olympian girls swam across the pool, put a glass of chocolate milk on the back of her head, and swam across the fucking length of the pool and gets on the other side and drinks it.
Wow. That sounds like a commercial.
So like, I think it was like
That's
milk
amazing.
probably,
Yeah.
but I saw it. I was like, holy shit! But that is what life
Right.
is you can't fight forces.
Yeah. Go with the flow, right?
You can't fight nature. You always have to go with the flow.
Okay, so let's tie that back into what we talked about earlier. That flow, that flow of nature is no different than your flow in your house or in your vehicle or in your job. Stay in the flow. Watch what other people are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Watch your colleagues, watch your loved ones. You will be amazed at how you can start looking and watching and perceiving, but it doesn't affect you.
Absolutely.
It's a different life. It's a whole different set of wires in your system, and it's the flow.
It is.
Get in the flow. Let other people get in the traffic, do the hating each other in the politics and the Facebook bullshit. Get in your own flow and just sit back and watch. And before too long, you're not even going to want to watch.
Yeah.
Which is even better.
Absolutely. You know, and that's a big thing to think about is you just flow. Same, you know, we talk about get in a river, go upstream. Unless you got a motor, good luck.
Yeah.
You have to go with the way life pushes you. And sometimes it doesn't push you where you want to go and all that.
But sometimes you're not ready.
Yeah.
If you're not, listen, if you don't like,
where you don't need to be at that time.
If you don't like where you are, just like the weather here in the Midwest, just wait a day, it'll change.
Yeah.
But don't force it, because then you're going to feel the same way the next day.
Well, it's life. There's a reason there are certain laws in place of, you know, you're quote unquote considered an 18, you know, adult at 18, but are you really?
Right.
You know, we
both know.
I have my arguments with that. You know, you can go, oh, I'm going to go sign up and go kill people in war, and I can't come home and drink. Yeah,
but hey, listen,
a whole debate. But
I still think the reason why, let me throw this out there for my brothers and sisters that have served or are planning on serving. When you're 18 years old, I swear to God, you are not prepared to pick up a rifle.
Oh, no.
Not unless it's a 22 and you're plinking squirrels.
Or to shoot for fun. At 18,
Exactly.
I could not imagine getting out of high school, even though I wanted to go into the Navy, to think that you were potentially going to be taking human lives.
I think 21. Okay, a lot of people argue with me. Why don't we take the drinking age down to 18? Whoa, no. Why don't we take the military service age up to 21? That gives kids a few years, instead of going, well, I don't have anything else to do, let me go be a cog in the warfighting machine, the military industrial complex.
The most get out in 4 years.
Right.
So at 22, you did your basic, and your easiest four. Well,
and now what?
Easy four, and
now it's hard to go back to college. Now you've been making money. You got to make money.
Yeah, you put a lot of shit into their heads.
Let's wait a little bit. I know with my kids, I'm telling them both, you are not going in the military. No way. Not until you're ready.
I physically probably could have gone in. I've been fine. I don't know quite mentally. But when I started fighting in my early 20s, the mindset and how I trained, I would have been at that place where I could. Now I could have, yes, but I have no intentions of ever, causing harm like that to a human.
And that's a whole other conversation. We won't go there today because I am very proud. I've said it before. I'm very proud of my service. I'm very proud of my friends, my brothers, my sisters that have served. We've all got friends that lost lives. I lost a lot of people on a couple different days. Other people dealt with a lot of atrocious shit that wasn't lost. It changed a lot of my thinking as a father, as a husband. It changed my outlook on life, knowing that I was a part of what I was a part of and the things we did. How could you have led with love? You couldn't. How could you have unconditional love? You can't.
If you did that, we wouldn't be here.
Right. Exactly.
And there's those moments. Yeah, we're kind of digressing here, but like,
no, it's okay.
Yeah, like
it's what makes us.
It's those things of you can't go into war with love.
Yeah, it's very hard.
There is no love in war now. Not like back in olden times when it was Christmas. It was World War II, I believe. That Japanese and Americans and all agreed, no fighting.
Yeah.
That they actually, some of them had dinner or served, and it's like, 26, let's go at it.
Yeah.
To think that there's no way anywhere in this world now, it's Christmas, it's Thanksgiving, nowhere would they stop and do that.
No, now
that shows at the time of, I believe, men and women who had to do all that back then. Not that I don't believe our men and women now, but I don't believe the other side would give the same respect. The culture has changed across the world. I think there are some that would, but
in our current environment, I don't think we would.
I don't know.
There's no way we would give compassion or empathy to another nation that we were at war with. We would use the holiday against them.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, I think it was the second Desert Storm. No, it wasn't. I don't even know if it's been declassified. I was on a deployment. We were in a very, very tumultuous environment, and Ramadan was coming up, and we stood down. But we stood down as a unit, not as a government or as a whole military. No, no, and we weren't at war. We were on a mission to help prevent another war. Okay,
which you easily could have capitalized on that area of the world and
totally.
They're all praying. Let's go.
Yeah, totally. I will say that we did that, and I absolutely loved that move in the moment. I didn't know why.
Yeah.
Other people didn't like that move. I loved that move, and because my my inner empath, my empathy was showing me that, hey, that's that's it. That's love.
Probably gave you a little bit more sense of humanity,
Yeah.
kind of giving you a sense of your peace. Because essentially, when you join the military, again, I can't speak of it. They're trying to strip you of you to make you as one.
Yes.
That you are all the same.
But they also strip you of your ability to provide unconditional love to another human being.
And so we can take that and we can go, so the military shaves heads, no facial hair, pending.
Yep.
You are all now one, no different than the Shaolin monks. The difference is they are not preaching war, even though they study arts of things that they could go off and beat the living piss out of things and people.
Yep.
But they're teaching compassion, empathy, love. You know, they don't even believe in killing animals. Most of them are vegetarians. They won't eat, believe in killing. Won't kill the bugs and all this.
Yep.
That similar start in nature. We're taking away individualism, but they both go their opposite ways of what they do. But they all start at that plane of, but I get the purpose of the military, and I get the purpose. The monks aren't fighting. Yes, they've been involved in wars, but there's
what, 1-2 nations that don't partake in
war.
You know,
Switzerland, Canada,
and let's look at
Australia.
At these reports that are pushed out, the happiest places to live in the world. We've got a couple spots in Canada.
Yeah,
Switzerland.
Yeah,
you know, I mean,
crime's very low in Switzerland.
Exactly. So okay, so then how do we get there?
Somewhere in Ireland too. That's one of the best places to live. I don't remember where it is, but
so let's not point fingers. Let's just say, how do we get ourselves on that map? How do we make the United States somewhere that everybody in the world says, not just because opportunity.
How do you get back to that?
How do you get back to that? Absolutely. Because we've fallen away from that. And it's none of our fault, really. It was conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
It was sudden growth,
Yeah.
very, very fast growth. You don't quite know what to do with that. You got to protect people. You got to show a strong front. We're a young nation, but we're not going to get fucked with.
Yeah, we fought our independence, and then we...
Yep, get all that. I totally get all that.
We had to fight our civil.
But this goes back to like even the stuff they were talking about on Rogan a little bit back about how like the human trafficking and whatnot. If you think about it, goes back to our forefathers. Our forefathers had teeth in their heads from slaves.
Oh yeah, he talked.
What in the world?
I talked about what I think Washington they would do. Yeah, they pull, but yeah.
So okay,
they do that now in other countries. Oh, you got gold in your mouth.
Yeah. So, okay. So slavery, that whole thing, human trafficking, we sort of started on a crazy foot.
Yeah.
We can all
but the
admit
world
that.
has gone on in human trafficking because the Egyptian pyramids were, quote, built by slaves.
Yep.
Mayan, Incan,
Sure.
not 100% sure, but more than likely.
But it doesn't
they
make
also
it
had
right.
millions of people in their civilization.
Oh, of course.
But
yeah. Doesn't make
then
it right.
you can also go into Nazi. You know, he took smart Jews and put them to work and then took the rest of that.
Yep.
But you know, the world has been unfortunately done, and
So how do we get back though?
that's kind of what like Lao Tzu talks about, getting back to the great way of everyone living with the world of, again, that, you know, money and this wealth can exist, but Jeremy, you craft some phenomenal skin, hair, and beard products.
Right.
I can build things. Well, what do you need built? You know, whatever skill I might possess. It's going back to the bartering, but realizing that you only take what you need.
Yes.
And we are not in a world anymore of take what you need. And that's where, like, I think what we've both found, and I feel that, yeah, you're still going to have to do the day-to-day things. You got to work and these things, but I'm going to go all buy this. Why? Because I want it. I don't need to have these things anymore. Like certain things, it's like you just kind of get to that point. But Lao Tzu talks about the great way of everyone getting back to that enlightenment line.
Yeah.
That
Center.
we're all centered.
Yeah.
We are all finding our purpose. We are all on that path that we are providing something to the person next to us.
Yes.
So if I look right, you're doing something for me and I'm doing something for you. If I look left, the same thing. That everyone on the earth is contributing to Mother Nature. Mother Nature is giving back what they need, but we're not taking more from her than we need, and I'm not taking more from you, my fellow man on my right, or my fellow man on my left.
Yeah.
And that's you would literally have to, you know, go knock on Bezos' door. Hey, dude, you're $200 billion. You're the wealthiest man in the history of the world. I think.
Yeah.
Which probably is true. Okay, man, you need to give all that back to people.
Right. Right.
But
That's a difficult ask.
yeah, and it's not to say the world will never be that way, but it's these small little gestures that you could do of starting with yourself, like we talk about, of being happier with what you have, realizing that, like, again, that's little thing I shared on my Instagram. You already have the best gift ever. You have life. Now, you may not be in that place. Some of these situations, you like the sex trafficking, those kids, adults, whomever, not, but they still have a life.
Yeah. Yeah.
They still mean something.
Yep.
And hopefully, like, certain situations will resolve that they get that back, that gift that has so rightfully been robbed of them right now.
Right. Yeah. But you also have to realize that when those people do come back, if they are found, they are going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
They have trauma. They have a lot of things that are going to need to be processed.
Yeah.
And we have to meet that with empathy and compassion. We can't meet that with, well, here's a counselor and here's $100. We'll see you later.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that happens, but we have to take care of each other. And that's just trying to tie into what you said.
I agree.
The person to your left, person to your right, they have $20, but they need 100. This person's got 50, but they need 100. You've got 300. I'm gonna actually give some of this away because I think that it will better these people. And if they're better, then I'm better.
Yeah.
So still selfish.
Yes.
But selfish with a lot better intent.
But there always is. There always is.
Yes. You can't get away from your ego.
There's no deed that you can do that there's not something coming back to you. It's impossible.
Good or bad.
Yes.
And why is that? That's because there is nothing but negative and positive.
Yes.
There is nothing. And you might want to talk about, well, there's gray and there's no.
Yang.
There's two things. There's in and out. There's up and down. There's left and right. Anything else is just another variation of that. Yeah. It's just in and out in a different way. That's all. It's not just a gray area. No, that's still a very, very firm left and right, or whatever it is. And I'm not trying to say that in a way that is tied in with any politics or anything else. No, that's just
the
life.
World.
Yeah, man, it is.
And I think it all goes back to that flow.
It is. It is. And finding things that help you get in that flow.
Was it last time or maybe might have been with Josh?
What's that?
Josh was talking about the river. Are you the bank? You the river?
Oh,
you the
that
rock?
was me. Yeah, that was us. Yeah,
I didn't know. Yeah,
and it was because I said I want to be. I always wanted to be the banks of for my wife's river or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
and then I realized, no, dumbass, you need to get in the water.
You got to
you got to be in the flow.
Stick canoe going with it. Yeah.
You got to all be in the flow together, and that's happiness. That's real family growth right there. If you think you're the banks and they're the river, well, you got a problem. And I had a problem thinking that way because that is ego-driven. That's me being their protector. No, dumbass. If the world wants them to go down that river without you, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. No, it's those things. But that's the biggest thing is, a lot of, everything I've learned in martial arts is always a flow. Don't fight it.
Right.
You can't force it and many things, but let your life flow. You'll really learn as we go back to the beginning of talking about traffic. Yeah, you might be a little late. Just go with the flow of the traffic. If there's a jam, you ain't got to get around it unless you go off-roading, and that's illegal.
That's right.
You cause more problems for yourself.
That's right.
Just go with the flow of what the day brings because for some reason it was meant to be that way.
That's right. And if you, like we said earlier, if you get angry about that flow, it's not the right speed, it's not the right direction, well, maybe it's not time for you to do that other thing that you thought you were supposed to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm here to tell you, if you think that you're in control of where you end up every day, you're lost.
Yes. Exactly.
You're lost, and I'm sorry, but you need to be found. You need to find yourself. And I'll take any name calling you want to say. I'll take you any insults or any critiques. That's sort of how it is.
Yeah, and if it helps you for that moment to say that shit, let it roll.
Let it rip, baby. Let it rip. All right, man. We've let it rip now for an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think it's time to sort of wind up.
I just got one thing I'm going to say.
Yeah, do it.
So, for anyone out there, it's not been the best year for most people, or even, life is not itself. I will tell anybody, if you're struggling in life, you need somebody to talk to. It's whatever it is. If you're listening to this, reach out to us, reach out to a friend, or whomever listening to us, someone you haven't talked to in a while. Shoot them a text, shoot them a message, comment on their social media. Be engaged with people right now because the world is not fun right now. For a lot of people, they're struggling, and we don't have these same norms. People can't go out and do the same things, but that little message might be the turning point that somebody needed. So I encourage all of you, it's like a little homework assignment. Reach out to people, someone you haven't talked to, just say, hi, how you doing? Hope you're doing good. Just be a good human. And, you know, like Jeremy said, lead with love versus, straight from the hip.
Yeah, I don't think I can add much more than that, but just thank you guys for being here. We sure appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Jeff, I can tell you every time, but thank you for being here.
Oh, man, I appreciate you always having me and being a part of this ride. When you called me, I guess, what was that, back in, I don't know.
Oh, it was early this year. Wasn't it, or late last year?
It was November 2019, I believe.
Yeah. Well, it just,
I was in a big warehouse when you called me.
Yes, you were. Yes, you were. You're in a big warehouse doing big warehouse things.
Yeah.
And now we're here doing little things, but little things that I think will help a lot of people.
Absolutely.
I really hope. Again, we're not here to preach. We're just here to tell you what's worked for us and what's working and what makes sense.
Absolutely.
Cool. So trauma or no trauma, you don't need to go cry to your mama. You just hang out and enjoy the flow.
Yeah.
And we hope it's a comfortable flow. And
flow in love.
we hope you flow your ass right back here next time. And we'll see you again. Right on.
Bye, guys.
Peace.
Don't wanna be a signal fire.